This is Angela Williams reporting from Ruth Devon Media, bringing you end of the day breaking news. The Associated Press has reported that Mary Tyler Moore has died at the age of 80. And we over here just wanted to say thank you, Mary, for not only bringing women's issues to the small screen, but more importantly, women's humor as well. You will be missed, and we love you. Rest in peace. Also coming through the news cycle is Donald Trump. The campaign promises, I should say controversial campaign promises that he had been touting during the election process, it looks like are finally coming to light.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Today, he, in a live news conference, he talked about immigration reform, and he is looking to sign an executive order that will ban immigrants from Syria, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, and Somalia from entering into the United States. Now, he can, in fact, issue an executive order to that effect. And part of this immigration policy that he is trying to get passed also involves that wall that he's been talking about building on the borders of Mexico and the U.S.
We are going to build a great border wall.
President Trump set to take his first steps in executing his signature campaign promise.
And he can sign an executive order to that effect as well. But the one shining beacon through this is that he can sign the order and it be a law on paper, but it cannot be executed without congressional approval, because a president cannot allocate funds without the approval of Congress. So if you want your voices heard, if you want change to come, call your local congressman, senator, alderman, elected officials, and raise your voice and say that you want change. That's the only way that we could at the very least slow down this process so that Congress can come together and think about more intelligent reform in regards to immigration. So Trump has reported or ranted on Twitter, and I feel like I should say reporting from the Washington Post or MSNBC or CNN, but it looks like Twitter is the media of choice for our new president. But on Twitter, he is calling for an investigation on voter fraud. It's just ironic because one of his top advisors, Steve Bannon, is being investigated for being registered to vote in 2 states. So Trump, I would suggest you check your own house before you start harassing the American people. Also on Twitter, the president has threatened Chicago with sending the feds to induce martial law, if you will. So this came out after a report by Bill O'Reilly that in 2017 there have been 228 shootings in Chicago. Now keep in mind that's only 24 days, people. So Chicagoans, including myself, agree that there should be something done about the crime rate that's seemingly continuing to escalate.
We have a challenge right now, specifically but not limited to the South Side and the West Side, where we have a level of shooting and a level of gun violence that's unacceptable and must come to an end.
We were thinking more of coming to the table with city officials and talking about education reform or programs that gets kids off the street and put them in a safe environment so they can thrive, so they won't result to committing acts of violence against their neighbors, neighborhoods, and people around them. So before we talk about martial law, Donald Trump, can we think about some more viable solutions that will help the issue of crime in Chicago? I mean, we're just asking. And finally, Trump is, I feel like I should say President Trump, but it just seems so wrong on so many levels. But President Trump is thinking about attacking sanctuary states. Now, these are states that open their arms and welcome immigrants from all over into their areas or in their provinces and give them a safe space to live and thrive while they're waiting for the immigration process to defend them. But he's looking at implementing or withholding federal funding for those states who do not release the names of nonviolent, undocumented immigrants, as he calls them, to the federal government. So, as I said before, you have to get involved. You have to stay informed, because some of these things happened, these policies and executive orders happened in the dead of night, and we're just hearing about them today at press conferences. So stay informed, call your elected officials, raise a fuss. We have to stay vigilant in resisting some of the nonsense that's coming out of this administration. I'm sorry, I had to say it. But how about some good news, people? The Huffington Post is reporting that Barry Jenkins is a trifecta in effect. So Barry Jenkins, as you know, is the writer and director of Moonlight, and he is up for 3 Oscars. So Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Screenplay. And this would be the first time in history that an African American has won 3 nominations, and that's keeping our fingers crossed, 3 nominations in 3 separate categories for an Oscar win. So Barry, we're rooting for you. Let's get it done, right? And also, Black Enterprise is reporting or asking us to keep our eyes open for a new millennial CEO that's giving Prada a run for its money. Kendall Miles is the creator of Kendall Miles luxury shoe brand. And apparently she is giving Prada some competition in sales, in design, and also just brand presence. So look out for her on blackenterprise.com and check and see who is redefining the luxury shoe industry. So thanks for listening. This is your daily evening recap. And that's the truth, Ruth Devon. I know, corny. Keep us posted, and we will keep you posted.